Login accepted.
Right. Let's start. Hi, I'm Alex, and I'm going to present you a couple of words about system design interview. So please do not expect that I will answer all your questions straight away, but at least I will provide you good guidance how to be prepared for system design interview, what things you need to take a look, and how you actually came to it and come out from this specific type of interview. So, the topic of this presentation is from candidate to architect mindset and how to pass system design interview. And this actually, our point of view, that we actually managed to, sorry. That's actually our approach that we come into from our empirical investigation of the many numbers of interviews, and that will be a partially global approach and Tesco itself. So, agenda. So, few words in introduction. I will tell you about interview pass at Tesco, because I'm actually from Tesco, and welcome all of you on our recruitment stand. System design, what do you need to know about it? A couple of approaches that you should consider. Few words about assessors, because it's a quite important part of the system design interview. Top tips from the Tesco, but again, as I mentioned, our empirical investigation should be wrap up with some kind of outcome. And Q&A. So if we won't have enough time for Q&A, I'm actually welcome you near the Tesco stand, and I will answer all your questions straight away after the presentation. So, few words about myself. So, I'm a software development manager at Tesco Technology Poland. I've been working as a leader since 2017. And obviously, during this time, I'm participating as an assessor in more than 100 interviews. Different type, different kinds of interviews, various candidates, tons of countries, I would say. 5, yeah, tons of countries. Contributing as a Tesco software development lifecycle recruitment leader. So I will tell you a little bit later about it, but yeah, that's some kind of thing. So if you want to follow me, please, this link to LinkedIn. So, little bit about myself. So, first of all, what are paths we have at Tesco Technology? So, basically, we have two major paths. So, first path is for software development manager, and it consists of 3 stages. So, system design, leadership, and software development lifecycle. That's actually the stage I'm owning from the recruitment perspective. And for engineering side, we have also 3 stages: system design, leadership, and coding. So that's a reasonable question might ask you, and the one guy who will actually help me to ask the questions that you might have on your mind. So this is a Mr. T. Please welcome. And he asked me, hey guys, I really like your approaches, I really like your stages, but why actually do you have all of these stages? Why do we need it? And probably the most prepared of you who actually spent not 1 hour on the interviews might say something like that. We're here to be the best of the best of the best, and because you're looking at it, and we say, not exactly. So this is a brief description. So what are the stages, and what exactly we're checking during these stages. For more probably experienced guy, you may say, hey, you have quite good approach, yeah? You get rid of architects, you get rid of QAs, and let's developers doing this job. Yes and no. So from the one perspective, in a Tesco, we don't have a specific let's say, community of architects or architects as a role itself, but all opportunities that might be done by architects actually done by developers. Good from the self-development perspective, good from the perspective of taking a look at forward than when you wanted to be in a few years, one of the most, let's say, frequent asked questions during the interview stages. And it will help you to look a little bit wider to the picture of the software development rather than just the coding. So that's our thing. Actually, from the Tesco perspective, we do have many types of our own products. So these products require not only maintenance, but as well development and a few other stages, which actually might, let's say, flown into a specific another project or even a specific domain. So that's why we have all of these amazing stages. So, okay, and probably one more thing I wanted to add. So if you would ask how I feel myself in Tesco, and I would probably share with you this is my personal, let's say, subjective opinion about Tesco, but I wanted to share it with you. So if we're talking about Tesco technology, because Tesco and Tesco technology, there are two different, let's say, companies, I would say, and different structures. So in Tesco technology, we act in mostly like, let's say, small startups under umbrella of Corpo. So what does it mean? So that means that each team is actually capable to pick up one of the technology passes and apply it to the specific project. And the Corpo umbrella actually will show you that we have some set of the technology that you might use during the development stage. So that's actually how we approaching. Okay, dokie. Let's go further. And Mr. T wanted to ask the most important question. Hey, so what do you want from me? Not only about, it's not question only about Tesco, but also a question in general. So what usually companies want from their candidates? Let's take a look at one of the, let's say, most popular case studies for system design. Guess what is it? Anyone? No? Okay, it's Twitter, basically. So more or less, it's a Twitter system design case study, which actually, let's say, many companies actually use this as a case study for specific stage. Does it really what we wanted to see from you? Not exactly. So, not exactly. So, main thing here that if you know that most of the case studies from the various conditions, they have some kind of specific seed inside of it. And that's what you need to actually approach, what you need to understand and show as approach how to actually implement those specific things. So Twitter, actually I will get back for the moment in one. Oh, Twitter has even few seeds, so that's actually separate part of the case study. It might be a separate topic for specific system design. So that's why what we actually want you, some few approaches to consider, how to actually approach the system design interview. So from our perspective, give me a moment. Okay, yeah. So from my perspective, personal perspective, I would suggest you to take one of two major approaches, I would say. So there are tons of approaches, and you might find it on different presentation, different courses which actually prepare you to system design. But that the easy, most convenient, I would say. So, and first of all, we actually need to take a look at requirements. So functional, non-functional requirements, and take a top-bottom or bottom-up approach. So first of all, if we take a top-bottom, so we need to gathering requirements from the perspective of understanding what you need exactly to implement. Then we need to prepare some kind of logical architecture. And after this logical architecture, one of the crucial part from perspective of the specific, it's API definition. It doesn't matter which API you will pick up. It might be SOAP, might be REST API, but the most thing that you need to be sure that this exact approach will fulfill the all requirements which is above. And at the very end, after you identify all of the specific thing, so we have a data structure. So data structure is its most pillar of the system design. So design a specific way how to store data, or what data are, and how we actually manipulate with it. So what are the things? And as a specific outcome, what I might suggest. So that definitely should be one of these three, or maybe all of them. So it might be one of the three outcomes. So first of all, it's component diagram. Quite high-level understanding how the parts of your system design case study will be operating with each other. Second one is a flow process diagram. So if there will be a need to understand the flow, what you're going to implement during this system design, you definitely need to show the path, how it actually will be working, what things to consider. And last, I would say, but not least, and that might be optionally just discussed at the end, but again, quite crucial to understand if the person who actually approaching system design interview understand how the design might be implemented on physical architecture or infrastructure. So that's basically what might be approaches. And so from this actually outcomes, you might probably ask a question, and Mr. T forgot to come here. So what the things that interviewers are looking for? So I prepared for you a few things. So first of all, so you need to truly sure of fundamental system design principle. You will be engaging into discussion about the problem and constraints of the and parameters. So that's some kind of a how you actually establish connection between yourself and interviewer. So any decision that you actually will make should have and consider most, let's say, cases, and considering actually different engineering trade-off. So that's the thing. So you need to demonstrate your specific experience and how this specific experience might be viewed during this actually interview. And probably the last thing, that's a comprehensive understanding of the system and its users. So system design, it's not only about a technical part of system design, but as well how this system will be used by users. One of the good examples from this perspective is when you, for example, designing API. So you need not only consider technical part of the design, but as well how users or potential customers of this specific API will be getting it. So, and of course, if we have what interview is looking for, we have a second, let's say, side of coin that what interview is not looking for. So first of all, focusing only on a technical aspect, as I just mentioned. That's not an approach of system design interview itself, and that's not a way you wanted to take during it. Making some bare assumption about the prompt. That's also quite hard to understand from the interviewer's perspective, and better to establish connection and conversation, and just to clarify what interviewers wanted to see. So interviewer is also not looking for providing definitive answer with invasive certainty. Sorry, that means that if you state something as a solution for specific question or addressing some non-functional functional requirement, so you definitely will be sure that should happen. But at the same time, you need to understand if that thing is what interviewers wanted to see from you. And one of the biggest problems we actually facing during our interviews on system design, so it's actually extensive expertise in specific problem domain. quite complicated, but long-term in short words, so that when person, for example, knows some kind of specific part of system design and try to make it as deeper as it can. So it try to dig up the things that might not be needed for system design itself. So it's also not the good thing. And the last thing is interviewers doesn't like if you just will try to speak without any assumption, and you will be just flowing from the beginning till the end without any considering of the opinion, of the feedback, and so on. So that's not the way. Then we have Mr. T came again and asked us about, so maybe do you have any do's and don'ts what you might share with me? And I can actually take it into any system design interview. It doesn't matter which company you will be applying. So I would say yes, we do have. And the first thing is the next. Sorry, technical. Yep. Okay. Okay, so first of all, you need to be sure that you in wrong direction if during the system design interview you actually just flowing with a stream, you're just playing the game and you don't want to actually challenge yourself or interviewers. So is not a way which I would suggest you to take. So second thing, and that definitely will pass you into a wrong direction, if you find yourself pushing actually against interviewer feedback. So that means that you probably have a connection, you have a conversation, but at the specific thing which actually interviewer wanted to try to help you, you just skip it or maybe just pass through it and don't address the specific things. When actually the third thing also actually talking about the self, so when you ignoring any interaction from the interviewer side, it's also not the way that interview should go. And again that the last but not the least, the thing that you exceed the task boundary. So that means that if you would, for example, take a seed from the system design case study, you're trying to build it up, but at the same time, you actually do it so complicated. If you remember Twitter, yeah, so there are few seeds, so that you probably don't need all of this during the system design interview. And at the same time, a couple of things to consider and simple rule need to be followed, just to understand how we wanted this interview to be processed. So you need to communicate honestly. From my perspective, I think that connection between interviewer and interviewer so should be actually considered and established at the very beginning. You need to understand how you're approaching, and if you don't know something, or if there's something that you actually don't have much expertise, you might discuss it with a few words and mention it clearly and honestly. Second one, interview itself should be felt as a collaboration between two persons. That's actually approach and the way that you simply will follow, and definitely will help you to do it much better. So your role should be showing you and telling you, or role that you're actually applying to, should be telling you who should drive the interview itself. So, and obviously, if you're applying to the role, I don't know, maybe junior or mid-level or associate, so that's definitely that you expected more communication from interviewer's perspective. And if you're applying to the role of the development manager or senior developer, so definitely the path of the interview should be led by you. So that's the main thing, and also good approach from the perspective of interview itself. And the last thing, but not least, the thing that you need to take time to just considering different side of the same thing that you wanted to present, and let's say you better to take some kind of small pause to think, to prepare the thought, and then talk about it loudly, or showing something as a diagram or any outputs that we actually suggested. Okie dokie. Mr. T come to me and say, hey, quite great suggestion. It's very good, but that's from the interviewer's perspective. How's about assessors? How's about the actual person who conducting this interview? That's quite good question, because as I mentioned, things system design in any type of any interview is just some kind of collaboration or conversation between two persons. So we need to consider and to understand what will be the actually second side of coin, yeah, so the assessor side. As I mentioned, this presentation based on our empirical view and my personal, let's say, subjective opinion. So we might, for example, have two major different types of interviewers or assessors. First of all, it's assessor Killian, who actually just sitting and listening. And second one, assessor Opera. That's just some kind of basic approaches that we see. So the assessor who wanted to help you with any specific step, who wanted to guide you from the very beginning to very end with this any type of help. Yeah. So either will help you to pick up another path if you would pick up the wrong one, or might be just say you something interesting, which actually help you to going through. So main couple of things. Basically, those two types of assessors, they not guarantee that you will fail or you will pass the interview definitely. And if you would get Opera, it doesn't mean that you definitely will pass through the interview pass, because that's just an approach and a relationship which actually established during this interview. It's more crucial to keep your calm and do not lose all the thought that you actually come to interview. And at the same time, assessor Killian, he actually also not here just to fail you on some connection. So he will just has a different approach to the conducting of the interview. From both types of assessors, we have a different, let's say, tips and different tricks how to approach it. So obviously that assessor Killian, he requires more soft skills from the engineer itself, and he actually required you to be prepared more than actually assessor Opera probably. But at the same time, we can, for example, consider assessor Opera as a good option for stressless actually interview itself. So that's actually what we have from the assessor perspective. One moment. Okay, and sorry. Okay. Yeah. So, and as I promised, so we have a few tips that we as a Tesco technology wanted to be considered for all the candidates that applied not only to our roles but to any interviews. So, first of all, the major message that we wanted to bring to you, that's don't think like a coder, think like a tech lead. One of the, let's say, greatest suggestion how you're going to approach system design interview, just consider yourself as a technical lead. which actually showing something to a junior developer which just came to interview. And that's actually the change in the role for you team lead, you as the interviewer, and the assessor will be considered as a junior developer. So with small remark, of course, that this junior developer knows some kinds of the background and non-function function requirements, of course. Second tips from our side as well, it's just keep calm. I know that any types of interview for most of you might be stressful. That's quite good because it's like one of the major feeling from the human rights, from the human side, and but try to keep calm. Try to take a breath, and anything that will happen during the interview will not go outside the interview. So it will be just personally your specific experience. Third one, be open and positive. That's actually a good suggestion to actually establish a good connection between yourself and interviewers. For most situations, assessor will be able to understand that you're a little bit nervous, you have a stress, and he will try to make it easy, try to lead you till the end with a specific outcomes. So that's first one, and next one quite good from the perspective of understanding the second side of things. So first of all, assessors want you to show your strengths, to share your experience, to fulfill the specific seat of the system design with your unique experience. Just remember that this actually case study, assessor is doing all the time. So almost, let's say, each system design interview, it's doing the same case study. So your specific outcome from the system design should be able to either cover the right approach or to show some specific experience that you wanted to present during this case study. And it's actually possible. Second one, I don't know why it's Cow here, but maybe she knows something. Focus on a big picture. As I mentioned, so system design interview is not only about technical solution on specific stuff, but it's also interaction of the system with cloud, interaction of the system with a specific users, and the target audience which will be going to support this let's say case study which you implement. And the last one, and that's probably the most important, that assessor actually will help you and support anything that you won't be able to present or show. That will be definitely so assessor will try to bring it at the light, let's say, and try to help you to combine it with a specific presentation. That's actually the main goal of the interview. And one moment. Okay, yeah. And from the perspective of company side, I would like to say that the most of the candidates, again from the empirical investigation, which actually has most of the things that we actually wrap up as the top tips from here, they actually pass through the interview process from the beginning to the end. So that's the main thing. And probably that's it. We have a huge amount of time for questions and answers. And if you do have any questions, so please wave your hand. Okay. So since no question, thank you very much for coming. Have a great rest of the day. Yeah.